In a world full of spoilers and nothing is a surprise to us in wrestling, we got a shock debut last night in AEW with Roderick Strong returning to our TV screens, and we're going to talk about it at some point in today's show. But what's up, people? My name is Mekz, WrestleManiac, if you will, reporting for Revolution Radio Duty. I'm alongside my co-host.
Yo, people, it's your boy NK, man out, too sweet to be sour, hood Japanese correspondent, CEO, President, Commissioner, the TDM. Yeah, we here. Revolution Radio, baby.
Yeah, man. Really decent show last night. And, you know, like we're saying, like this Roddy Strong stuff kind of came out of nowhere.
Nah, like, it's weird because, like, he didn't even get formally. I mean, we now know he's released, but we didn't even see like, oh, Roddy Strong's been released from WWE. Like the last thing we heard was like he was nursing like an injury, and then like there weren't really plans for him. But like we thought he'd be. Didn't he sign a new contract? Like I swear he signed the contracts. Like
I know when he asked for his release.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't granted.
Yeah.
Like you said, he was injured, and then I think they were planning to offer him a coaching role for the rest of his existing contract, but I don't know if they ever did. Then we just see him turn up to make the save, and I feel like the commentators were really selling it. They were like, you know, when Cassidy and Bandido came out, they're like, oh, but it's still 4 against 3, like the numbers game, this, that, and the other. And then when
I thought it could be Kyle O'Reilly.
You know what? I didn't even think that. I just thought like someone's gonna come out, but it was a pleasant surprise, man.
Nah, it's great, but it's weird now because now it's like Undisputed Era have all been in AEW, but one of them's gone. So it's like, I mean, to be fair, no disrespect to Bobby Fish, but like the 3 guys that I'm most invested in are here. So it's like,
am I right in thinking that Bobby Fish, there was some type of misdemeanor behavior issue when he left?
I thought it might have been that. I remember like he had some like not like some comments about AEW that weren't favorable, but I know, for example, when he left, he had something to say about CM Punk. But it was a bunch of different things. I think
he was already gone by then. But I think when Triple H became in charge in WWE, I think he said something which was like
that might have been it.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going back to my boss, or the boss is in charge, or he said something stupid, and then before we knew it, Tutu's there was some mutual agreement that he left his contract and stuff.
But you know, I've noticed. I'm noticing like a lot more quiet releases happening because Jonathan Gresham, like I remember like maybe last year or even approaching 2 years ago, we were talking about obviously Jonathan Gresham's statement, and then we were like, is he released? And we never got an official statement until Jonathan Gresham said like on a podcast up, and like I'm been released from a contract, I'm free. Same thing is happening with Roddy Strong. Like they've kept it hush hush, which I kind of like. I like it this way. Like
it needs to bring surprises back. Let man just walk into places and you're like, oh my god, sort of thing. I hear it. Like, Jonathan Gresham was last year, because I think it was on top of last year. It was Battle of the Belts, which where he lost the title to Cesaro, or yes, it was beginning of that 2022 in the first quarter anyway. So like I'm here for this. Like it'll be interesting how they kind of negotiate, and they played off obviously the last time they were on screen together in NXT. That was when Undisputed Era fell apart, because I think they were trying to add Finn Balor to the faction at the time, or something like that. So they played off that a bit before they kind of reconciled. Very interesting that he's been added to this story, and doesn't need to be a main thing. Roddy's never really been a main guy, but to come to somewhere like here in AEW, Ring of Honor, wherever he eventually lands, just to have good matches, like this is his forte, in it. Like all the sports entertainment kind of stuff, it never really clicks with him. So he's in the right place for, I guess, this next chapter of his career.
Yeah, like Roddy's here. He's a wrestler's wrestler. Like he's just here to wrestle and put on. Roderick Strong, out of like the Undisputed Era, he was my favorite to watch in ring. Like I think Adam Cole's probably like the best overall. But like just solely week to week wrestling, Roderick Strong's the perfect guy for that, man. So and he's with his missus now, so it's like You
Yeah.
know, I'm sure that's an incentive these days for a lot of these wrestlers, just being close to home in it. So
Of
yeah.
course, of course. So yeah, that was an interesting development within this Adam Cole story and just on Dynamite in general. But yeah, we will get into our regular review. Before we do, what was your overall thoughts on the show last night?
Okay, I think it was. I wasn't. I think it was better than last week's show. I think this show is a much more
Yeah.
wrestling focused show, which
Mm.
is what AEW do best. Some execution issues again on some storylines that I'll get to. But it was solid. Like, it was a solid Dynamite.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought particularly maybe the second half of the show was probably a bit stronger in its totality, but there
Okay.
was obviously good parts in the first half of the show as well. Or maybe I'm just invested in more stuff that was happening in the second half of the show. I don't know. But yeah, I think it was all right. And I guess now I feel like they couldn't have done this, but I just felt like Double or Nothing was closer than it is. It's still
Yeah.
another
No.
4 weeks away.
No. Same. I literally thought it was in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, did they? I was thinking, did they push the date back or what?
I think they might have, because like I could have sworn
Maybe
Double or
they
Nothing
did.
was pretty close.
Yeah,
But I
maybe
don't
they did.
actually. They couldn't have, because they've already sold tickets for it. I don't know. Like I don't know in it. But
But they did. They did say, which to be fair, did surprise me because AEW events usually seem to sell out ASAP. They did say on the show, Double or Nothing, whatever the date was when they're doing a promo for it, and they said, "Oh, still tickets available."
yeah.
So I was thinking maybe they pushed the date back by 2 weeks or so to the end of May, because surely it felt like this was like 2 weeks away or 3 weeks
No,
away at least.
and literally the way storylines were building, it was like it's really close. But now
It's
it's like
soon.
they've
Yeah.
got a lot. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, what? 28th? I could have swore it was like 2 weeks away.
Literally, that's what I thought. Okay, at least I'm not
Yeah.
alone. Maybe I just
Nah.
missed the boat from the jump, but yeah, yeah, decent show.
Yeah.
We'll get into how we break it down, looking at the MVP of the
Mhm.
night, the match of the night, best and worst segments. So you guys, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here, and we'll jump in with the MVP of Dynamite. So the person that shone the most on this week's show. Do you want to go first, NK?
Um. Nah, I think you should go for. Still trying to think. It's hard.
All right. So my MVP of the show, again, I wouldn't say this was like standout head and shoulders, like it was obvious or anything like that. Sammy Guevara.
Okay.
I felt like Sammy Guevara in recent weeks, but I know this will tie in with one of my other things that I say today. I thought he was just very good throughout the show. I think it helps when you are put in segments with MJF, no doubt, like to bounce off. But I felt like Sammy held his own, and he had a couple of segments on the show. He had the match with Darby Allin, which was a very solid match. They didn't, they went crazy with the table spot and stuff, but they had a good wrestling match. They phoned it in. They didn't need to kind of do too much in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought some good performances from Sammy Guevara. I feel like his fortune and his perception is beginning to change. And that All Access show, I don't know if you've been watching it.
I've seen clips, but I haven't watched the full episode. No.
Okay. I've binged like 3 episodes at one time, and I haven't watched this week's one. But I feel like that is helping.
Okay.
I feel like that is helping him and his general perception by the public. Like, people are still booing him, of course, he's a heel.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like he probably feels a bit more confident in himself, because people can now understand maybe stuff he's seeing backstage and stuff like that. And those boos are still boos, but they're not like go away heat, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, they feel like more in line with him as a character than him as like a person.
As a person, exactly. So yeah, and I just feel like maybe, like I say, it is more than likely the person he is more so working alongside in MJF, and just what MJF exudes every time he comes on camera. But I feel like Sammy Guevara, particularly this week, he shone and had a really good week in general with the promos and with the match.
Yeah, I would say It's kind of a cop out, but MJF. Just his. I think his presence was kind of missing last week, and just to see him back in the fold, just on television again, I felt like I missed him. And I feel like I said, this build has been a good build in terms of we've kind of gotten away from the MJF tropes, and it hasn't been your typical. Even though in a way he's remixed
Yeah,
formula.
they remixed it.
He's remixed it because these men have to fight to get to me.
Yeah,
But I don't know. It's been done at least in a new way, and I think like there's nothing in wrestling that's new. It's all about just reinvention and how you put a spin on things. And I feel like just in this feud, like we've been able to see a lot more of MJF, and just seeing him back on television is like, you know what, this guy deserves to be champion. Like, and I feel like that's something, because I think people are kind of skeptical on his title reign right now.
yeah.
I mean before, but right now I'm like, I don't want to take the title off MJF. Like, I'm happy with him as my champion. You know what I'm saying? And so MJF is my MVP of Dynamite.
Just on a side note, MJF is obviously a very good champion, very entertaining, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Has there been anything in regards to people talking about his drawability? And, are people actually coming out, leaving their houses to come and see MJF in the main event of pay-per-views particularly, but like, because I think this kind of might tie back a bit to, like I was just saying, I feel like AEW events, because they're so few and far between, the pay-per-views sell out almost instantly all the time. And obviously there's still tickets for this Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know what the general perception is.
I don't know. It's hard to say because the perception of AEW right now isn't great, if we're being frank. Like, I feel like perception-wise, it's like it's in a period where I feel like it's not as bad as it was in All Out, but I still feel like it's still trying to recover a lot of goodwill from people that, saw the All Out situation and saw the backstage politics that is still going on as like, oh. So I don't know. But would I say he's like on a level of a draw as maybe a John Moxley, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho? Not yet. No. No. Like, I feel like that's very clear to see. But also it's for MJF, it's like he's those guys, I wouldn't say they benefit because they help create it, but they were at the top during the time where the product was at its best, arguably. And that is, I won't say as most popular, but just the reception around the product, the energy around the product was different. AEW had a lot of momentum. Right now, AEW is doing well, but I feel like it's still trying to clean up the mess that was the All Out CM Punk fiasco. And I feel like there's a lot of that bad press when it comes to the company.
It's like a lingering smell.
Yeah, so I don't know, but like I think it's fair to say that he's not them man. So and them man, like, for example, I feel like if you threw the title on a Kenny Omega right now, numbers are going up. If you throw a title on certain man going up, like the numbers are going up. So I thought MJF is a thing where we're just gonna have to see. I think it's a thing where we're gonna have to look at his title reign as a whole and see, okay, like how much of a draw was he? But yeah, it's an interesting question to ask. It's an interesting question to ask because I feel like, like even the buildings they're doing, and even for example for something like All Out, an All In, let's say he main events All In. How much credit would we give to? Let's just throw 55,000 people in All In, just as a number. How much credit could that be given to, okay, the strength of AEW's brand or the strength of MJF as a draw? Because these are hard questions. Even the whole who's a draw in wrestling. Because the thing is, I have with like WWE, it's like I feel like WWE is such a strong brand that it will always draw. So when certain people are said to be draws, it's like, I believe you, but how much is that is the brand doing the work, or how much is that is the wrestler putting asses in seats?
Yeah. We see, especially when like WWE come to, like, they're in the UK right now doing a tour up north, but it's like a circus. Oh, WWE's coming to town, so it's like people
Yeah.
don't know who's gonna even show up,
Yeah.
especially when it's them house shows. So it's just like literally, like you're saying, it's the brand. But you know, I think they're gonna. I hope that it doesn't become an issue and they stick with MJF.
Oh yeah.
You know, as champion.
I
It'll
think
be
one thing
very
you learn
interesting
about
when we get to All In.
mm-hmm.
You know, main event. I don't know who they're gonna stick with MJF, and people are gonna think, is this really the main event when there's so many other men on the card, possibly? So
I feel one thing we've learned about Tony is that he's stubborn, and he will, as we've seen with certain projects, Wardlow, he will stick with it. So he will stick with it. So I feel like with MJF, he will stick with it. I don't think it's going to be a situation where the title will be snapped. I think with his world champions, he's always given them time to cook. So yeah, I don't have any worries about MJF's title reign.
Yeah. Cool. All right then. So that's the MVPs. I said Sammy, you said MJF. We'll go next to match of the night. I think there's a couple really good matches on this card, to be fair. You want to go first?
I'll do this one. Listen, the workhorse of the company, Mr. Orange Cassidy versus Bandido. Like, it's just, you know, it's a given at this point. I feel like when I see Orange Cassidy on the card, it's like he's probably gonna have one, like, the best match of the night, if not one of the best matches of the night. He's just his consistency is outrageous, and it's like, obviously Bandido, I'm happy to see him again. Obviously, I think he had visa issues that he needs to get sorted out. But yeah, this is what a mid-card title should be. Like, just people going out, uncomplicated stories, just going out, wrestling, defending the title. And yeah, man, it's like I don't have much to say because it's much of the same quality. It's just standard. It's like Orange Cassidy goes out, has a great match, 4-star match every week. Like, his consistency is of a high level, and and I feel like what I like as well is that the variety and the versatility that Orange Cassidy has with different opponents. He can go in there with a technician, cook. He can go in there with a luchador, cook. Like, it's just week after week, he's still producing at a high level despite the differences in his opponents. So yeah, man, Orange Cassidy and Bandido is my match of the night.
Stylistically, he just meshes with everyone.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, it don't matter if it's luchador, big man, fast paced, or whatever the case is. Like, he just makes it work, sort of thing. It does seem, though, just on a wider note, it does seem like they're trying to wind down the title reign. They're telling us the story, you know, on commentary. He's knackered, basically. Like, you know, he's burning the candle at both ends. Excalibur said on multiple times. This was his 20th title defense. So maybe by the pay-per-view, maybe the next week or so, they start setting up whoever he has for Double or Nothing, and maybe Double or Nothing is where he drops it to
Roosh. Roosh is my number one pick for this, for sure. Roosh is, I don't know, like I feel like he hasn't been on TV much recently, but I feel like he's the one. I feel like you put the title on Roosh and you can continue. The thing is about these titles, and I feel like you have to, once you set a precedent of, like, okay, a title being like the workhorse title, you kind of have to continue with that. Roosh, you pick up right where you left off. Like, obviously he'll be a heel, so he'll start cheating. The matches will be a bit more nefarious and dastardly, but Roosh is someone I can trust. You put a title on him week in, week out, he's gonna deliver. Don't come and put the title on, I don't know, actually, QT Marshall's a good wrestler, to be fair. I was going to say QT Marshall. He's a good wrestler. He's a good wrestler. Yeah. But yeah, don't put the title on somebody who can't, like, maintain the standard you've set, because you put in work with Pac, you put in work with Roosh, and yeah, man. Listen, I'd love to see Roosh take the title to Mexico.
Yeah, I hear it. Just following from what you were saying, I was just about to say, don't TNT the international title, because that's exactly where we were with the TNT title. Like, it was that kind of entertaining. There was that level. A precedent had been set, like you say, and then all of a sudden we started hot potato in it. And I think I was listening to something. Was I listening to something, or I saw something that basically said, since Orange Cassidy's become champion, there's been 6 title changes in the TNT belt.
Yeah.
It's just like, what are you man doing with this?
I don't know. I feel like there's, I don't know, man. I don't know with the TNT title anymore. I just don't know. Like, do you know what it is? Like, I thought the title was gonna be rehabbed. Like, I to this day, like, as much as I love Darby Allin winning it again, he should have never beat Samoa Joe. Yeah. Samoa Joe should have continued with that title, especially he should have. Since he's still got, the thing is, I
He's still
thought
got the
since he's still got
ROH
the
one.
ROH belt, just continue the King of Television stuff. Like, that was working, it was cooking, and it's like, I don't know.
They made it look like they were gonna make him drop that the TV championship to Mark Briscoe, which probably was the right choice to do, and then they didn't do it. So yeah, then why did he lose the TNT one?
TNT title. I would have rather him lose the TV title on ROH and then just continue his TNT title until somebody comes up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, Cassidy just continues, man. Him and Bandido. Roosh is a great shout to be the next champion. And yeah, we'll definitely continue, where we are with that. Yeah, to be fair, that was my match of the night as well. I would say honorable mentions to Sammy Guevara and Darby. Was a pretty decent match, as well as Dax and Jeff Jarrett. Even though I feel like Dax probably carried a lot of that match, I feel like I'm enjoying Jeff Jarrett more than I ever thought I would. So, yeah, big up him.
I think an honorable mention for me is the main event. Kenny and Takeshita as a tag team, like, were really good.
I wanted more. I wanted more time. Like, I felt like, it just as it started getting good, like, they done it, they ended it, but obviously they had the segment afterwards. But yeah, I could have done with more time in that match.
Yeah, true. But I just felt like their chemistry was just like, but like once they started hitting V triggers, like, it was just like, it was crazy. Like, but yeah.
Cool. Okay, that's the match of the night. So I'll go through with my best segment, best Dynamite segment. And for me, this was MJF and Sammy Guevara backstage. I think it was Renee Paquette doing the interview for Sammy. Then MJF just, jumps in, gives him a kiss on the head and everything, wishes him good luck and everything. And they're really just cackling it up. This is just two guys having a great time on TV. We've seen these kind of behaviors with the likes of MJF and Chris Jericho in the past. Even, back in WWE, Jericho and Kevin Owens, the whole Festival of Friendships kind of stuff is that kind of behavior in it. And we all know MJF is using Sammy, and we all know MJF is going to betray Sammy and all of that kind of stuff. That's what it was looking like anyway at this point. They had bought each other gifts. Sammy Guevara had bought MJF the vest with his name on the back, and MJF had bought him a Burberry scarf and all of that kind of stuff. And they were about to shake hands on their agreement, but friends hug, and instead of shaking hands, and he had a big cheesy hug. Like, it was just some good fun TV and kind of showing their union, their relationship, and their plan to kind of go against book their way into Double or Nothing, thinking that nobody would stop them. Lo and behold, obviously what happened. So yeah, I just think MJF was hitting on all cylinders, probably carried the segment in terms of just that entertainment value, and Sammy came through and just bounced off him very well. I thought this was probably the most entertaining segment on the show.
Yeah, I thought it was a good segment, and obviously the segment after the match that Darby and Darby, Jungle Boy, and all of those guys had was great. Tony Schiavone was hilarious. When he's like, "You,
you prick,"
and what I do like, I feel like we are leading up to the Fatal 4-Way organically, because what I was afraid of was like, Tony Khan reversing the decision and being like, now it's a 4-Way, because then I'd be like, then you have to do that for every other DQ that's happened in AEW. So what I like was that, cool, we've seen that an injustice has happened. We're going to reward you with another opportunity. It's not a guarantee. I mean, as fans, we all know it's going to lead to a Fatal 4-Way, but kayfabe-wise, you've got an opportunity to redeem, the injustice that's been done against you. But at the same time, as the heels, Sammy Guevara, you won on paper, so we're not taking away your spot and it's not a guarantee that it'll be a fatal 4-way. So I just like the fact that the babyface have to go for another obstacle before, and it feels like it feels reasonable. It feels organic. It doesn't feel like, yeah, this is some nonsense. It just feels like, okay, like, yeah, okay, earn it. If you want an opportunity, earn it.
Yeah, the opportunity is the opportunity. So look, I can see some nonsense is happening. I'll give you, man, one more chance to see if we can get and yeah, they done that. And you know, just going on to that's next week, isn't it? That tag match.
Yes.
Like, I feel obviously following the end of the show when we saw MJF not allow Sammy into the ride. Sammy knew the car was empty, and MJF was saying, "Oh, there's no space in there, whatever." Now we're probably in a position where I think the whole thing of, you know, lay down and just let me pin you and whatever, we might see Sammy do that next week. He may just lie down and let one of these men just pin him, so that everyone gets an opportunity, because MJF has already kind of shown Sammy, you know, we're not really friends, are we, sort of thing. So
I think next week MJF should get pinned. I feel like, I don't think it should be Sammy that gets pinned, because I feel like you want all three guys going in there strong. And if you feel like, oh, if Sammy gets pinned, it's like, I don't know, not that it decreases in momentum, but it's like I would want MJF to get pinned, even though he's the champion. It like really stacked the odds against him. Like, and then they always say it, like, in a triple threat or fatal 4-way, like, the odds are against the champion because there's other guys he's got to face and he can lose the title without getting pinned. Just, I think, pin him and then have him go like insane like the week after. And then that way it could be Sammy can have an angle, be like, listen, you fumbled your own bag. I don't owe you anything anymore. And then just create a different dynamic. But either way, the fatal 4-way is the right thing to do.
It's the way to go.
Yeah. I think my segment of the week is purely just for debut tax. It's the Adam Cole segment. Because there are many things I could have predicted. Roderick Strong and AEW, this, like, right now, nah. I couldn't have predicted it. The segment, as objectively, the segment was fine. It was okay. Like, it wasn't anything special. It wasn't anything bad. But just adding Roderick Strong to the mix, I'm a huge Roderick Strong fan. So, like, for me, that popped me heavy. I was like, raw, like, Roderick, like, So, I love Roderick Strong. So,
yeah, I think it's definitely one of them ones, like we were saying earlier. Too much stuff is spoiled for us as fans. Like, even what did we hear yesterday that what's her face, Trinity Fatu, Naomi from WWE, is gonna be in Impact. She's turning up in Impact. They're taping it or whatever. Like, whatever anyone thinks about it, it's like, why do we know this as fans? Can't it just happen and we just find out? You see what I mean? Like,
I think people are just comfortable. Do you know what it is? I always feel it's like it's the one intern in these in these companies that's like that's got the phone and said, "Oh, sure, I got something good. Like, talk to me." I don't know, man. It's just sometimes keep it hush. Like, sometimes, like, even with the John Moxley thing, like, when his contract was up, and then we realized he'd been signed to a contract. It's like, like, stuff like that. Like, as much as I do like the being in the know and being aware, I just want to enjoy as a fan sometimes. I just want to be able to sit back. Like, it depends. I feel like, for example, when CM Punk debuted, that was different because it was like, we know, but there was still an element of doubt there because it was somebody that hadn't wrestled in a long time. And it kind of built anticipation to see, okay, is he going to come? And then when he came, was that fine? But I don't need to know that.
Remember, they kind of half leaked. I don't say leak, but they kind of half gave us debate.
Yeah.
Because as well, Rampage, I think that was the second week of Rampage? Or was that the debut of Rampage?
Second week of Rampage.
Yeah, they wanted to obviously do something big for that show and that show's numbers. So that's more like a business move. But that's what the company done, and they had control of that. Yeah, we're talking about these people, like, just letting things out. Like, it's a bit crazy. Like,
Nah, it's annoying. It's annoying. Like there'll be a. Do you know what it is? Do you know the worst thing will be like it'll be you'll be on Twitter and then somebody will take like a photo like this, and then you'll just see I'm like you'll just see like a silhouette in the back. I'm like, oh come on, man! Like the show starts in 2 hours. You could have kept your mouth quiet.
This is it. Unless they're hitting up all these the journals, and the journals are paying big money for this kind of stuff, then you do what you need to do for your money in it. But like, other than that, if this is just for free or just to be the source or the person in the know, like, I beg, like, please don't do that.
That's like you've been here before, please.
Like you've been here before. Boy, so we're on to worst Dynamite segment. I'm not sure what we can pick for, but yeah, go on. You can go first.
I think it's easy. I mean, I think the easy pick was Mr. Ward of the Low, but it's the BCC versus Elite stuff with Takeshita. I didn't like it. I thought like
that was the worst.
I felt like execution wise, it wasn't great. I didn't like the execution. I felt like it made Takeshita kind of look like an idiot. In terms of course that Danielson came out after the match. Danielson came out, did the whole spiel of like, oh, Takeshita's talented and so on and so forth. And then I felt like what should have happened is Takeshita maybe should have walked away with Blackpool Combat Club, but it's a thing where he's conflicted. I don't mind him like being conflicted, that's fine. But it's when Blackpool Combat Club turned on him immediately after. The segment just felt very rushed. And it felt like you could have rushed. It felt very rushed. And it was like, you know what? You could have easily just ended Dynamite with Takeshita like walking Blackpool Combat Club, looking back with like a confused look on his face, and then drag it to next week. Because now as well, it's like we've got more. If this was like the go home show or the second like show before the go home show for Double or Nothing, okay, fine. But now it's like we've got 4 weeks left of this story to tell, and it feels like the story's naturally like hit its peak now. Like the battle lines have been drawn. It's 4v4. Yeah, and I don't know, man. I just thought execute again. It was an execution problem. I didn't like the execution. I have to be honest. I didn't like it.
Fair enough. So before I get into my thoughts on this segment, where do you think this is going? Double or Nothing? Is that anarchy in the arena? Is that what they usually do there?
Anarchy, yeah. It's usually, but yeah, I think it's going to be an anarchy in the arena or something. Yeah, just something crazy. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
Because
I don't see a traditional like 4v4. Like these men have been brawling. Like I don't want to see these men do collar and elbow tie up from like
yeah.
Fight.
Because I'm thinking, obviously, there's still the other people that could easily get involved in the story. The Hangmans. Some have even said the Kota Ibushi. Like, there's still people that could be here in this story, which will be very interesting.
I don't think the story ends. I thought the story ends at Blood and Guts. I thought that's where the story ends. I feel like whatever happens at Double or Nothing is gonna bleed over until like the next Dynamite after. I don't feel like the story ends at Double or Nothing because I feel like Hangman's gonna chill until either Takeshita gets taken out or something happens. Because I feel like the money is when Hangman joins, and they've done a good job of like keeping him away for now. But yeah.
So that for me, that makes it even more kind of nailed on. If they're going to Blood and Guts with this, then Takeshita switches sides and joins BCC.
Yeah.
And then that opens up 2 spots in the elite side of Hangman and Kota Ibushi.
Yeah. But yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think Takeshita might. But then we've got then there's the whole Don Callis element. Now, what does he want? Because he wants something. I don't know. Like he's
maybe Hangman rejoins with the elite first. They squash their beef, and that's when maybe Don takes Takeshita to BCC. Maybe that's the way they go about it.
Maybe.
I mean, we've got time. We've got before Double or Nothing. We've still got another 4 weeks apparently. So we'll see how.
We've got time.
Yeah, we'll see how that plans out before Double or Nothing. like I like the segment, and what I got from it, like the minute they pushed Kenny to the side and trapped Takeshita,
Yeah,
and obviously drew for the screwdriver, they made him bleed. And what the rule of joining the BCC is, you
you
have to
must
bleed with us.
you must
And
pour it.
that's
Yeah,
I literally I was literally like, oh my god, he's bled for them, man. So like, yeah,
yeah,
now it's nailed on almost that
yeah.
he's joining them.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
just really how they get there, and then obviously the elite
Yeah,
came in afterwards and stuff. Yeah, maybe Takesha says, yeah, this is what I do want to learn from, and all of that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's the one thing I took from it, where I thought maybe that's why I kind of saw past anything else. I did feel like
yeah,
it was rushed, but I
yeah.
thought the minute he bled, I got excited. I thought, oh, he's joining
Oh, he's
BCC,
joining.
sick. Like,
That's
so yeah, okay. My worst segment of the night. It's a difficult one because there's parts of this that I liked, but it was the QTV stuff. So they're all kind of thinking, how dare Arn Anderson gets involved, and what did he do? DDT, QT, and all of this kind of stuff, and Aaron Solo selling his neck brace and all this kind of stuff. And obviously they're saying Powerhouse lost the TNT title as a result of that. I loved the fact that Powerhouse Hobbs came in, stuck up my man against the wall, choking him with his forearm, and was just kind of like, this wasn't our plan. How we getting my title back? But QT kind of saying, I've got a plan B sort of thing. Like, allow it. Like everything Powerhouse Hobbs done within this, I was a fan of. But everything around it, why the QTV thing is still happening? Why is he involved with them, man? Like, I'm not trying to see a plan B. I think this waters down Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm even sure in the promo, Powerhouse Hobbs made reference to this wasn't in the book of Hobbs in terms of the whatever plan or what has happened. And I was thinking, so bro, it means you had a plan and you left the plan to come and follow QT.
follow these man. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's like it really frustrated me that, I mean, yes, continuity, and we always ask for continuity and for things to make sense, but this ain't it, man. I think
Nah.
we need to get to a point where he maybe plan B don't work, he spliffs QT, and yeah, maybe he can get his heat back some way
Yeah,
somehow through that.
because do you know what? I don't want him to win the title back because it's another flip flop.
Yeah.
And then he's a 2-time champion in it's like it's a bad situation. I feel like, do you know what? For the sake of just like correcting things and just like let Wardlow keep it till post Forbidden Door. Let Wardlow keep the title.
When's Forbidden Door? June. Okay.
Let Wardlow keep it till post Forbidden Door. Just give him, as much as the run might not be great, but just give him some time. Let him because I'm tired of this flip flop. It's graded. Just let Wardlow cook for a bit. And then when you've built someone up, have them defeat Wardlow, and then let them just take the title until even Full Gear.
Yeah.
But right now, would you let Wardlow's world run? Just let it run. I don't want it, but just to stabilize things.
You're saying it like you've got a gun to your head.
Yeah, just let it run, man. Just let Wardlow's world run. And I think I like Wardlow's potential, but seeing is believing.
Yeah.
And there's like it's biblical. They say faith is dead without works. I'm not seeing the works. I have faith, but I'm not seeing the works. So until I see Wardlow like cook and they give him material that serves him, it's just a thing where I just have to endure. I'm not looking forward to it, but for the sake of just the title, just firm it. Just let's firm what's going on right now.
I mean, thank God we've got another mid-card title that is thriving and doing
Thank
good
you.
for us to
I
lean on.
appreciate it. Put the TNT belt on Collision. on the Saturday show. Put it on Collision. That's what you need to do. Put it on
Might as
Saturday
well.
with CM
Might
Punk.
as well.
Wardlow like CM Punk. Put it with
They
them,
should
man.
at least make it like same way they give Orange Cassidy basically the opening match on Dynamite for this
Yeah.
title. They should maybe just make it the main event of Rampage or something, or maybe Collision. Yeah, maybe Collision. People can start afresh with Collision and care about it. Like, just make it the main event kind of belt over there. Like, but like, I didn't even like the way Wardlow his match this week, 1 week removed from winning it, also squash. We've done this with Wardlow. We've done it.
Yes, a lot. But I just don't feel Wardlow. Do you know, Wardlow's a good wrestler, but I just don't. And that's the thing. I don't think he's cut off that. He's not a Banga Badizio guy. He's not. He can have good matches.
Yeah,
but like
I
the
don't think he
only
needs to be Banga Badizio though.
At this point, I think that's the thing. Aside from Miro being the exception to the rule, I'd say Brody Lee had a great character as well. But Wardlow doesn't have either, in my opinion. He's not somebody who has like a really good gimmick like Brody Lee with
Dark Order, yeah,
with Dark Order and
James
Miro
Tentacle.
with the Redeemer. He doesn't have that. But he also doesn't have, just the work rate of an Orange Cassidy, of a Cody, you know what I'm saying, of a Darby Allin. So it's like, what do we do now? I don't know. What do we do now? Because
it's a conundrum.
It's a conundrum, but that they forced themselves into, because I felt like they fixed the title with Samoa Joe. Like, they did repair of the title with Joe, and it was fine. But now it's like, what do we do with Wardlow? I don't know. Like, you can't spectacle me to death, because respectfully, AEW is not a spectacle company. So it's like I can't. And I'm somebody who don't care about spectacle either. So it's like, okay, fine, but what are you doing? He's not captivating me.
Yeah.
He's just.
It's a difficult one, and I think they've realized it on this third attempt giving the TNT title. I think they've definitely realized it. Hence why they've brought Arn Anderson in, and I think that promo of Arn Anderson basically gassing man up and saying, you might have to bite a man's finger, you might have to bust a man's head, or whatever he was saying to Wardlow. It's almost him saying that, the belt is sticking with you for a while, my guy. So, buck up your ideas, sort of thing. And putting Arn Anderson in his corner as well, I think, again, is telling that, they want this to now be something somewhat, at least for a little bit, like you said, maybe to at least, the next 2-3 months. So, like you're saying, let it run. Let's see what they can do. Now that they have, what do you call it? The legend. He's got the legend rub, if you like, as well. So yeah, trying something new, can't fault it. But this would be like last chance saloon for a lot of fans, and possibly Wardlow. Like, again, this is someone that, people think WWE would love to have this guy. Whenever his contract up, he might be part of the crew where his contract is up in 2024. So maybe that's why they're kind of trying to look after him now and, give him some stuff to do so that he sticks around, which would be good. I like Wardlow like yourself, but yeah, this TNT stuff just hasn't worked.
Nah, yeah, it has not. It has not worked. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, because we say maybe it was, I want to say MJF tax, but I don't know. Maybe it was just the storyline that CM Punk MJF storyline that he obviously benefited from greatly. I don't know. Maybe that clouded our judgment. I don't know. I wouldn't like to think so, because I think he did his job well, in that storyline. But yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's that. Maybe you just need something. You just pair him with somebody that's like a storyteller that can. I was going to say pair him with a Jay White, but then Jay White has to win. So no, not that, but just somebody of that ilk that can like drag like that can really carry a story, and then Wardlow's kind of like working through that story.
I wouldn't mind. Maybe not right now, but if this Bullet Club Gold stuff takes off and they form like another kind of Bullet Club, like just put him back in a faction, make him that kind of big, heavy, the enforcer kind of guy. Like, obviously we know he can wrestle, so like don't make him like as poor as like a Jake Hager.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like just use him in that role. Like, unfortunately, sometimes that is your ceiling. You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if that's what you have in you, that's what you have. You can make a great career of doing that. Like, he obviously might think, within this company or another company, he can get to world title status. But like you're saying, he's almost like 2.5 in all of these departments. Like, he's a decent talker, he's a decent worker, he's a decent everything. Like, which one of these things is going to kick off to really skyrocket your career, innit? Like, that's where we are with him right now.
Yeah, man, we have to see.
Yeah. Just to round up, what did you think of Jade retaining? I know that's what we both kind of wanted.
Yeah, I wanted it. How we put out the Destroyer was random.
How do what?
How we put out
the Canadian Destroyer
was random.
Yeah.
But the match. I'm not gonna say the match was great.
No,
it had good moments.
Correct.
Good moments. It was the superplex I loved.
Yeah.
It had this, but like it had a moment and then it lost me. Moments and lost me. But listen, I'm happy Jade retained. I want to see her more on TV, man. Have her cut promos. Have her just put her on TV. Because I remember, like, when I saw her in the match, I was like, yeah, like the aura was there. Like, I realized why I like Jade Cargill, but the undefeated streak, you don't rely on that anymore. Like, have her cut promos, have her talking. Like, I'm obviously I'm happy Athena's doing ROH stuff, but I wish I was like, damn, I wish she was here because that's her. So yeah, man. But the match had good moments, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say it was a great match. It wasn't. It had good moments though. Like I'll give them that.
I think this is like the next phase, the next caliber, and rightly, like we're saying, the streak doesn't really mean much at this point. She'll probably take the belt off her, but just do it in a respectful way.
Yeah.
Like, this is the next phase of her development. She needs to be facing people like this.
Yes.
Like, the people they've been put in front of her are local talents or people that are maybe more experienced than Jade, but maybe say 4 or 5 years into their career. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Taya Valkyrie, like when Serena Deeb's available, Ashida, like these are the next phase of people, and the matches won't necessarily bang or be great just because she's facing them. But you could see, I remember back to, I think it's when she won the TBS title, she faced Ruby Soho in the final.
Yeah.
That match was, again, another step up from everything else she had been doing before.
Her best match is arguably Athena, and we can see the caliber of wrestler Athena is.
So this is exactly it. Like, we need to start pairing her with these people that, even if it not, like I say, not maybe the 5-year people that be doing wrestling, but maybe people that be doing wrestling for 10 years, 15 years, like, take her to that next step, because otherwise it's just same old, no development, and then you're clearly not doing much of this title and the story around it. So it's becomes flat. But I could see the effort last night, like you say. Not everything came off, but I could see the effort. I could see some level of improvement.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's what she needs. She needs to be. These squash matches don't serve people. I feel like putting yourself out there and wrestling people who are going to challenge you and even, like, come up with creative and inventive spots are needed. So,
yeah. Squash matches should literally be like, all right, we're debuting this person, maybe give them, him or her, 2 to 3 squash matches over the next 3 weeks to just establish them, get the crowd familiar with them before they get into their first story, and then squash matches go away. Like, don't overuse it and stuff. SDK08 says here in the chat, she's got to stop getting trained by Danielson and go to Big Show.
No, see, this is the narrative I'm not gonna see.
Why? Is this a thing? Are people saying this online?
People online are like, because Danielson's a banger, but this is your wrestler, he needs to go wrestle with the Big Show because he's a big man, or Mark Henry because they're big men. And it's like, I feel like, you could, like, the size or the style of like, she will never wrestle like Danielson. But I feel like Danielson is somebody who's fundamentally sound, right? And someone who can teach you the basics and the groundwork and work your way from there. I feel like she needs to wrestle with Big Show and do choke slams and all of that type of stuff. That's not even, her wrestling style isn't even the issue in my opinion. It's the presentation. For me, Jay doesn't have to be an amazing wrestler. She has to be an amazing presence. Just a figure that. So for me, it's like whether she does Canadian destroyers or choke slams or tombstones is irrelevant to me. That's not my issue. My issue is her aura. But no, Danielson as a trainer is not. Niggas can't be complaining to me about Danielson training people. It's Brian Danielson.
Yeah, it does make sense.
No, it's if it was like somebody like Pac or Will Ospreay, the skills aren't. It's not transferable. Danielson, it's not transferable. Danielson is a technically sound wrestler. Technique is important. Rest holds are important. These things are transferable. Nah, man. And this is no disrespect to Big Show or Mark Henry. I'm sure she's probably learning stuff from them too. But come on now. Let's not do the whole because Danielson's a small guy, he doesn't know how to wrestle big rubbish.
I think it's more about from what she's getting from Danielson, it might even be more about psychology.
Yes.
More than fundamentals, because even fundamentals, like it doesn't come natural to everyone.
Yeah.
To do certain things. It may just be the psychology, selling a move, selling a body part, all of that kind of stuff, telling a story in the ring.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think there's a massive upside to her working with Danielson, more so than these other guys. Not to say she can't learn from any of these people, but yeah, Danielson is coming from a place where he is well traveled, he is well learned, he's sat under the learning tree of, you know, Shawn Michaels, arguably one of the greatest people to ever do this thing. You see what I mean? Who is also a showman. So even if it's not just the wrestling side of things, he would have learned some of that. And I think we've seen, especially, you know, in, you know, his WWE run, like Danielson has many different facets of his own character, which have always come across well with the fans.
Yeah.
So
he's probably one of the most well-rounded wrestlers in not only just now, just like ever. Because he can do everything. Character work, got it. Psychology, got it. So, like, yeah, no, like,
yeah, no,
I do not condone that message.
I 100% hear it. I think more than anything, like we're saying, we're probably at the end of the day, she can learn from Mark Henry, she can learn from Big Show, she can learn from Danielson, she can learn from whoever she wishes. If she's not getting the time to put it into practice,
it's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. It's all theory. It's like reading. What's the stop sign? What's this sign mean on the road? What's this sign? But are you ever going to take your test? Yeah, you're never going to buy a car. You're never going to drive. Like, then what does it all come to? Yeah, it's like we're saying, she just needs to be in the next stage of her development, facing people that are more challenging to her, not squash matches, decent matches like she put on last night with Taya Valkyrie. So yeah, I'm trying to think, is any other major bits that happened on the show?
Not really. I thought it was okay. Yeah, I think we've covered most of like the big stuff.
Tony, I will give Tony a shout out. Another huge announcement that we got, but I feel like they pictured this one differently and it worked for him. I think this probably wasn't live.
Pre-recorded. It was pre-recorded.
Yeah. So I could see, although, you know, Tony's eyes are still wide open, looking at his teleprompter and all of that kind of stuff, but like it came across a little more less pressured for him, sort of thing. Yeah. And I actually really liked it. Now, obviously, he's talking about the Owen Hart tournament, which last year we all had a lot to say about. And hopefully this year they've learned from the mistakes. And even I feel now that they've kind of even given us a bit of a roadmap as to, you know, this is the first stop at Double or Nothing. We'll have matches in Canada, in Forbidden Door, and then the final will be in Calgary. And they justified why they're doing stuff in Canada, New Japan, this, that, and the other. I felt already like, cool, that it's a step up from what we got last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tony, because, you know, I'm very quick to kind of say if this wasn't good or I didn't like this from him particularly, I'll give him his kudos. I actually liked that use of him as a GM. It felt big. The colors of the background changed. Yeah. It felt like I was listening to like a news report from someone important.
Yeah, so, and it was an announcement that has an effect on us as viewers because this is something that we're going to be looking forward to, and on the talent. So it's like, and I think this wasn't announced last week, innit? This was like something that came.
The Owen Hart stuff.
So you know how Tony will announce that he has an announcement.
Oh no! I think it was just on social media. He's got an announcement.
Yeah, so it didn't feel like okay, like there's this world-ending pressure for something.
Yeah.
It's like okay, he's got an announcement and he's gonna speak. So and he spoke, and seeing Tony Khan here and there, it's like it's good. It's good. I feel like it's a balance of like I do like seeing them more, but I don't want him to do now Elite versus the Khan storyline, Austin McMahon.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to see that, but like, yeah, seeing his face and seeing him on TV as just like, yeah, I'm the guy who runs the company. Isn't a
It's
bad
enough.
thing, and I feel like pre-recorded segments are kind of like where it makes the most sense.
Yeah, this pre-recorded, I definitely worked for him.
Yeah.
I'm someone that personally likes on-screen authority figures and GMs in my wrestling. I know everyone doesn't,
Yeah.
but I do. So if he was to kind of insert himself more, I probably wouldn't have an issue with it. But yeah, it's just what's he announcing, or sometimes what is he blowing out of proportion as a big announcement, which really just need to be. But this was absolutely fine, and yeah, I'm for it being kind of presented more like this in the future if they do have.
For sure.
I hope that Owen Hart tournament,
Yeah, I hope we get. I don't know if we. So we got dates. We didn't get like brackets, no.
Nah.
So, but to be fair, it's the first round is after Double or Nothing, right?
Yeah, they said the opening ceremony is gonna be at Double or Nothing, which might just be Dr. Martha Hart just doing some type of presentation of the trophy and rules and stuff.
I'm okay with that because obviously we've got matches to build towards Double or Nothing, and probably kayfabe wise, different wrestlers have different priorities. So probably post Double or Nothing, we can get like a full. But I feel like any tournament, we have to know brackets on both sides up front. Like I need to know if it's another week to week thing where next week on Dynamite this match has been announced. I'm like, no, like I need to see the list top to bottom, so we can start like do a tournament stuff. Like who's the dark horse? Who's the Tony? Talk to your friend Gado. He's your friend. Call him.
They honestly need to make, and obviously we saw Best of Super Junior brackets. The 2 blocks come out today. Like they need to take the Owen Hart tournament seriously. Although yes, I know it's for the foundation and all that kind of stuff. Like they could actually do something really special every year with this tournament if they do it properly, and if they do a good job this year, people will forget what happened last year.
Do you know what I think they should do? I don't think they'll do it this year. So correct me if I'm wrong. The Owen Hart tournament ends before Forbidden Door, right? Or does it end after?
Not this time round. It's gonna end after.
Yeah. Damn it. Because what I was thinking, okay, fine. For next year, what I was thinking, like, give the incentive of whoever wins the Owen Hart tournament gets to cash in for a title, and then the title you can do since Forbidden Door's next. You could do world title or IWGP.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
be a good idea.
It'd be a good. So it's like an incentive, like where it's like, okay, this person's guaranteed a title shot, but the person might swerve and be like, I don't want the AEW title. I want the IWGP title. So no, come out. Like, and it just gives stakes. But this is afterwards, they can't do it.
That's the word, stakes. This definitely needs stakes. Like it can't just be you leave, like even the belt. They should just get rid of those 2 belts they gave to Cole and Baker. No. Like have the trophy, which is fine. And then it needs some stakes. They need to be able to be able to win something. Maybe even the international thing, because obviously Owen Hart himself was a traveler. He was,
that's fine. I don't mind that.
Like, get a title shot at that or something. But they need to kind of go back to the drawing board and make this feel important.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool. So that is this week's Revolution Radio. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you haven't. Hit the subscribe button, and that will be back same time next week. NK, any last words?
Just keep tuning into the show. Make like, share, comment, subscribe. And also the comment section. If there's anyone you want on the show that you feel like you'd love to see us chop up and talk AEW with, put in the comment section below.
Trust. Yeah, we're looking to get some guests on real soon. Cool. All right then, guys. Appreciate you tuning in. Like we said, do all the social media sharing and liking things and that, and we'll be back next week. Peace.
Cool.